Welcome to Harshaw Chapel, guys. This is the oldest brick building in Murphy. It is the oldest church and oldest something else. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, so in 2019, they realized that the church was actually...
Is this the name of the church?
The church was actually in pretty bad condition, like the roof and the steeple. And they were trying to raise money for it. So it looks like they may have gotten some money because the steeple is gone, which is kind of sad. But I'm going to insert a picture so that you can see what the steeple did look like. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is absolute. I mean, it is the oldest. Take a look at those monuments over there. I'm pretty sure it's like the oldest graveyard here. Let's see what this says. I mean, like in this area.
This is where you built cemeteries. Look at the view.
Oh, I know. Definitely. This is amazing. Who wouldn't want to be laid to rest here? And look at look at this older church right here. This is okay. So I think this went on the historical thing in '84. Okay, well, it does say it is National Register of Historic Places. I think it was like 1984. Look at this. So actually the interior used to have really fancy...
Kind of gutted at the moment.
Oh, is it? Well, it used to have really fancy things inside. Oh my gosh, I wish I could have... We're going to see if we can find pictures and I can insert. Yeah, it is pretty much gutted. Wow. Oh, this is amazing. I wonder what the pews look like. Oh, there's a little bit...
Historic figures.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is actually who we're going to go look for. All right, so right away, Tom found him right away. We knew what his headstone looked like. Oh my gosh, this even gets better. Okay, so one day I'm coming here. I know Tom does not really like to do this at all. But I will definitely be back by myself. I could spend all day here. Okay, so Mr. Abraham Enlow, born 1770 and died 1840. Do you want to know who he is?
I'm going to find out either way, so you might as well go on with it.
Okay, so there is some speculation that this gentleman right here is Abraham Lincoln's biological father. Father. So we all know that Thomas Lincoln is really his father because that's the man who raised him. But speculation is his mom was in this area. She was like a servant. And she was a servant for this family. And before she went to Kentucky, some stories say that she was pregnant before, and she's pregnant by Mr. Abram here. And some say that she actually had Abraham here. But either way, she went back with Abram's other daughter, who ironically was also named Nancy. And that is how Abraham Lincoln's mother went to Kentucky. So around here, there is a lot of speculation. A lot of people believe that this is his biological father because there's stories where somebody was visiting and Mr. Abram here was, he said, just beware my wife. She's extremely mad right now. And this was possibly why. So there are pictures of his son and striking resemblance to Abraham Lincoln. Now they say he was not tall. He did have dark hair, but he wasn't tall and he wasn't thin. But his son was extremely tall and very thin. So, yeah.
Well, I will say this is at least a somewhat more intriguing backstory than he flew a plane and landed in front of the White House.
Oh no, that man actually, there's a lot more information that I just didn't say just because I had read everything so fast. But actually that man yesterday did a lot of cool stuff. Was taught by Orville Wright how to fly because he learned at the right school. But anyway, if you're wondering what Tom was talking about, check out the vlog at the end. I will link it at the end. It was yesterday's vlog.
Yeah, and for those of you who really like cemetery type vibe vlogs, I'm sure that we have a like sub channel of the channel set aside.
We have a playlist.
And for those of you who could do without that saturation of cemetery
you just don't have to watch.
You don't have to click on anything on that playlist.
This is totally not Tom's thing. I'm fascinated. I mean, don't you at least think the monuments are just amazing?
I think they're kind of cool, but I, you know, don't drive 2.5 hours out of my way to...
Oh, I totally would. But this is not why we came here, but I would totally drive that far out of my way. I think it's a little bit freaky for Tom and creepy. No?
No,
I thought you said cemeteries creep you out at one point.
There was probably something in a cemetery somewhere that creeped me out for some reason. Like the ravens circling or the dark cloud moving in. I don't know. But,
no, the raven circling actually happened to Heather and me in our last visit. Like, they stalked us. Okay. But I find cemeteries just peaceful and relaxing, and history, it's people's stories. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, let's go check these out. The only really sad thing is they just need to be cleaned because I don't know who's here. I don't know whose story is here. I can't remember if he's the founder of the church or the son of the founder, but he definitely preached here either way. So this and the wife. So yeah, Joshua and his wife Elizabeth. So that is why they have their own little area. I'm curious what that is down there. And then the little footstone. Yeah, I wish I could read that. This one had some type of bush or something here, and that's why the roots have kind of knocked it over. And this was obviously a huge tree at some point. Look at the roots coming up there, and that one's fell over. Lots of huge trees around here. Look at that, all cut down. We have a Freemason here. And somebody, just markers. Okay, here we have the Coopers, our sister. Tom got a thrill out of Alice Cooper here. Look at the stonework on the wall. Guys, I cannot be more ecstatic than I am right now. So as I'm sitting here roaming, another vehicle pulls up. They get out, they go straight to Abram's grave, and they're taking pictures. And of course I had to ask. I said, oh, I see you're here basically the same reason we are. Long story short, he is a great grandson. Oh yes. So we actually met a family member, got loads of information, got email address. I'm hoping that you remembered Like I finally ended up going and getting my notebook, but yeah, he said a lot of stuff that I know I'm not going to remember.
Oh, and I'm going to remember next to none of it other than some relational stuff, but the names and whatnot just aren't my thing as far as how I process and remember
how he
things.
processes. So it's just like, that's the second time that that's happened. The last cemetery visit I made, well, not like on a different trip, I actually also met a relative of somebody else, so it was like perfect timing. But this is a lot more historical because this was, you know, I asked, what is the family's thought on this rumor? And obviously they believe. And not only that, but there is a family member that is working on trying to get some DNA samples because the family wants to know, you know, is it legit? Now, he did clear something where I had heard that Abram was not a tall man. He says no, he was a tall man. He was just a big man, so he wasn't necessarily skinny, but he was in fact tall. So, oh my gosh, this is just like so much information to process, and he's pointing me in the right direction to do some research. So stay tuned, subscribe if you're going to want to know more information on this. And here's another example of, you know, this tree was probably very, very little when, you know, in 1901 when this person was buried, and they would have thought, ooh, let's
see that
let's
right
plant them. Oh my gosh, let's bury them near the tree, and then roots and stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, what about this?
That pine right over there.
Yes.
There's a row of stones coming up to it, and then there's one right in front of it on this side that's just
been uprooted.
It's just over time.
It happens all the time. They think, you know, bury them under the tree. It would be a nice scenic spot, but unfortunately the roots always get in the way. Tom was just talking about how,
oh yeah, you know, where do you build the church in town when it's new? On top of the hill. Where do you put the cemetery? You put it right next to the church on top of the hill, and this is such a beautiful example of that. And then
progress and time, and you get
you put this
cheap metal buildings,
completely devoid of any character of worth or
yeah,
interest, metal building right here.
I would have loved to seen just huge like hemlocks or something just blocking this out. Would be amazing. This one's sad. So we have two sons, two boys. One was born in 05 and one in 08. And they both died on the same day. So I have to see if I can do some research. Was it an accident? I mean, I can't imagine it was a sickness that they both died on the same day. I am so incorrect. You can't assume, you have to read. These are not brothers. These are actually two different boys from different families that died on the same day. So obviously some type of accident. Like, it gives me chills, but I want to know more. I want to know Wade and Dawn's story. And Tom's back at the church. Oh my gosh, I wish we could stay more. But we do have another place to hit before. We want to get home before dark, so we really best to be going. Tree stump. Oh, look at this. It looks like it's reaching out, creeping down, like it's hanging on to these graves that look like they're sinking. That's the way I like to look at it. Wonder where the railroad ties were.